Some of y'all ladies don't have to settle. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but listen, everybody can't have a perfect man out here.
Let me tell you why what he said is actually a good thing. The myths surrounding relationships are evolving, and as they evolve, they get closer and closer to the truth. Remember back in the day when men said that if you had a bad man or you suffered in relationships, it was your own fault? I mean, they still say that, but remember when they said all you had to do to have a good man was to choose better? Now, they're getting so desperate, they're telling you more of the truth, which is that good men are in limited supply, but they still want access to your labor. So he's laying it out. Oh, some of y'all are going to have to pay for the privilege of having a dusty man in your life. You might have to go 60-40 on your end. What they mean is you're going to have to pay 100% of everything, and while he lays up under you and gets a soft life.
I wanted to add on to what Cecilia Regina did. This is a bomb video. I love all the videos that I've seen from both women and men talking about this particular situation. This brought me back to a situation my father used to do as children to learn accountability. Because it was 5 of us, it didn't matter if the baby or I or the middle child, whoever, did something that went against my parents' rules. One messed up, we all received the punishment. We never knew what punishment we were going to receive, but we all knew we were going to be punished. And at first, when my father used to punish the one that did the wrong thing, of course there's lessons to be learned, because you would pay attention to how your parent would discipline, you'd be like, oh, I know not to do that. Then I noticed that when my father was like, you know what, I'm actually done with this tactic. What I'm going to start doing is, one person mess up, you all going down. As he's punishing each and every one of us for that one person's messed up. It made us realize that we all have to take accountability. What's unfortunate is the ones that didn't do anything wrong, my baby sister and my sister that came after me, because they didn't like to get whooped, and they didn't like to get yelled at, then they didn't like to get disciplined, and they never did anything wrong compared to me and my other baby sister and my baby brother. But it got to a place where I got tired of getting disciplined from my brother or my sister, same vice versa. At first, it was not enough black men out there that cares enough to safeguard, protect, provide, educate, and I'm talking about respectfully lead in the way they should lead their community, their family. In fact, they abandoned it. And then not only that they did that within our own community, they're doing it in every other community they go to. And I'm not saying every black man is doing this. And it's unfortunate because we do have some good black men within our community. We're going to need to have a situation where we turn around, leave it all alone, let it wash itself out. It got to a place that after my father started doing this, he ain't never had to talk to us again. He never had to lay hands on us. He never had to tell us to do anything. Because it got to a place that we would pay attention to each other and make sure, even if I saw my brother or my sister or anyone doing something they had no business, even when I was going to do something I had no business, went back to, look, not only are you going to be held accountable, but everybody else had nothing to do with this choice. My siblings will be leaning back and be like, oh, is that what you're doing? This is what needs to happen. Yes, there are some good men, and for some good men listening to this, they probably feel like, well, no, this is a punishment. The fact that you're a good man, you have nothing to worry about. Because you are good in nature, you are good in value, you have integrity, values, loyalty, all the things that in life you felt like good men finish last. You are a rising star. You must allow for the women, the good women, to vet out the difference between a good man and a narcissistic, toxic, truly hates women. Just the same goes vice versa. You will stand above the rest. If anything, that will help you even perfect and work on the qualities and the characters that you wanted to improve. Genuinely, this is who you are to the core. All it would do is solidify the true gentleman you really are. Annihilating the whole option of dating toxic men that use tactical, abusive, narcissistic, incel, misogynistic behavior, values, and everything. It really starts with us. And until we fully understand that and embrace that, we're going to always have this issue. Even though that guy was abusive and very toxic towards you and you left him, and now he's doing everything you want him to do in that relationship, but he's doing it with another woman. The only thing he was able to do was to learn by using you as the guinea pig to extend how he can be able to elongate relationship with a woman who is healthy, basically turn a healthy woman into toxic. Women need to start learning how to do is wash them out. I'm talking about turn your back the same way they turn their back on their responsibility, on their values, on their character, on the way that they need to be, never to come back again. Until these type of men are forced to have nothing else to do but to actually put in the work. If our grandparents would have done that when Papa was a Rolling Stone and all the other toxic behaviors and tactical things that they've been using, these narcissistic behaviors, not to say that they would be obsolete, because a narcissistic demonic spirit will always be here, but they would know better. And then you'll always have that good man, or the one that took up these narcissistic bad behaviors from all these pathetic gurus that don't know what they're doing, don't have what they claim they have, sitting in their cars all day and giving horrible advice on how to basically get rid of women. Turn your whole back from every toxic, bad behavior man that has no principle, no value, who does not care about being a man that fully covers you and his whole entire family. A man that's willing to elevate and keep up with his education, with his character and all that, and not making poor excuses for things he should be working on. Because a good man is not going to poor excuse for poor behavior. A good man doesn't bring problems, he resolves them. We know what a good man looks like. I grew up with one. My father would dare never tell my mother, what do you bring to the table? Even when my mother was working, and that was because she needed things to do when we were at school as we were getting older. Not once had my father ever came to my mother about bills, stressing her out about anything. It was all on him because he was that confident, strong black man. And that's what we need back in our community. If you want that community, not for yourself right now, because I'm telling you, it's going to take a few decades. Everything that's been going on with the world, and all the hardships and all the stuff we've been facing, and all the other toxic things that's been marinating, not just within our own community, but other communities as well. But it's more prevalent in ours because we've allowed a lot of it because we felt, let's give them grace, let's give them love. The medication we gave for this disease wasn't the right one. And unfortunately, what's going to need to happen is we're going to need to fully turn our whole backs and walk the hell away in order for the future to have better. So that black excellence can go back to black excellence. So that the next time when even an inkling of this mindset or toxic behavior or tactic that they want to pull, they're going to be like, remember that time when we've done that for so many decades and we thought that was going to be that soft life we was going to have? And look what happened. But we also need to be mindful. At the end, it wasn't easy. We were against a rock and a hard place, figuring out on our own and doing it on our own. But look what we were able to produce. We were able to have homes, get better careers, education, certification, everything we needed to do. This is a strong proof that when your back is against the wall, and it doesn't have to be, but when it is, it's about perspective, it's about responsibility, it's about accountability, and it's about doing what is best and what is right, not just for yourself, but for everybody else. Despite the fact that we all went to school, got careers, got a home or whatever, we're not the only ones living off of that. We have family, we have friends that if they need something from us or when we see their need, we're able to do that. But what can we say about some of these toxic guys? This spirit is actually just a demonic spirit that is narcissistic. It's a spirit that hates when it comes to these different platforms where the message sums up to, we hate women. What straight man in his masculinity would ever talk about alpha, beta, Yogi Bear? None of them would do that. What real respectable man is going to take advice or take toxic traits or no one will do that. And what they fail to understand is because they've been living and working, basically cohabitating with the enemy, cohabitating with this narcissistic spirit. And that's a spirit that's going to force them to be alone or force them to have to then live with the conditions of a female version, if that's where they end up at. Also narcissistic, but far worse than them. That's the end game. And with a narcissistic person, decline and leave them alone. And what we need to do is, black good men in our community, we need to put our foot down in these type of narcissistic energy and narcissistic characteristics, basically operating from any root of narcissism, misogyny, disrespect, all the characteristics that pulls into what a narcissist is. If we were to put our foot down on this whole entirety, this would help cut off the guys that would ever want to entertain that type of spirit. Because it first has to start with entertaining it, because what happens in the spirit, the body soon follows. Those women that want to take on the spirit of being a pick-me, those men that want to be in that desperate spirit of pick-me, so this is why I'm taking up this narcissistic spirit, they're going to be tested in a level where it's either fight or flight. They're either going to fight against it when they start seeing that lifestyle isn't for them and leave it alone, or they're just going to have to continue that life and end up ultimately ends them all straight to hell or in a hellish relationship where they belong. Ladies and the good black men there, don't panic, don't worry. We have to operate in the way that these videos are teaching us how you operate with a narcissist. Cut them off, annihilate them, separate them so far from you. They want to turn a good thing into nothing. They realize that they're marinating in nothing but they're nothing. And everyone and anything that wants to support and enable this behavior can marinate alongside with them.